This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCG code cards. They are compatible with TCG Live, and you can of course get everything on the website for 5% off using the coupon code ZapdosTCG. This video is also sponsored by Cardmarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can do it as well. And you can use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by YourPlaymat.com. This is a platform where you're able to, of course, create your own custom playmat. They have, of course, capabilities to ship worldwide, and you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So definitely check it out. Last but not least is Dragon Shield, the best brand to protect your beautiful cards. You can of course there's links down below for US and European people, and you can of course get your best quality sleeves available, as well as deck boxes and binders. Thanks so much for sticking around with the commercials. I hope you enjoyed today's upload. If you do, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's get this video going. What's up YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG uploads, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new. And today we're going to be checking out the results of the LAIC, the Latin America Internationals 2023. And of course Miraidon came out on top. We already did a video on that first place winning list, but today we're going to be checking out the top 16 deck list from LAIC. And we're also going to be taking a look at the meta-analysis, which decks were popular, which decks did really well, which decks converted well, other decks fall off, so stuff like that. If you're interested in seeing that, you're going to be seeing all of that in this video, and including the deck list that you are so desperately looking for. So hopefully you guys are going to be enjoying the content. If you are, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. And with that being said, let's just take a look. This is the day one analysis. So 1,258 monsters were battling it out, and we did see that the Gardevoir EX deck had the most percentage with 17.8. So that's actually insane. I didn't expect Gardevoir to be this hyped going into that tournament, because a lot of people say like, oh, Gardevoir is not that good anymore because there's Iron Hands and all that good stuff. But yeah, it seems like Gardevoir is still solid. We have the Scream Tail, we have the Counter Catcher, so there are a lot of things that Gardevoir can do, and it actually draws the most cards in the entire game, with of course Refinement Curlios as well as Shining Arcana Gardevoir. So you're gonna be drawing tons and tons of cards, and you have all the outs. You have Iono to the low hand size, as well as Counter Catcher, trapping something and attacking with Scream Tail. Anything's possible with Gardevoir. Second most popular deck was Charizard EX decks with 202. I actually am not sure that most of them were with Pidgeot. I think the TM Evolution builds that we actually checked out last week were very popular as well, so they didn't split that up. They just put it all together, Charizard EX, and they had the second image as a Pidgeot, but I think most of them were TM Evolution if I had to guess. There's also Chimpao with of course Iron Hands, and most of these lists there is of course the way you can take additional prize cards with Ampu very much, and Chimpao was very popular with a 9.9% meta share. Then Lost Tina, barely close, cutting it in there at the fourth most popular deck here. Lost Tina also gained Counter Catcher, which is very great. You can use Roxanne, Counter Catcher something with a high retreat cost, and then start sprinkling with your Sableye. That's how good it actually is. Then there's a Roaring Moon, a very controversial deck here because it actually didn't convert all that well. 9.1, so 115 players decided to play Roaring Moon, but as we will see in day 2, it actually the conversion rate was very terrible. And then there's Miraidon with 8% meta share, but that actually won the entire event. If we take a look at the day 2 meta-analysis, look at that. So 134 players in day 2. And we did see that Gardevoir converted insanely well, with 1/4 of all the players in day 2 were playing Gardevoir. Crazy. But there was a lot of skillful players playing Gardevoir, of course. There's Lost Tina having a very great conversion rate as well, going all the way to 14.9. So very good for Lost Tina. Charizard also did well. Chimpao, Mew VMAX came into the charts after day 2, and the Mew VMAXs were coming up with something spicy. They had the Assolgor, the grass type Pokemon that can deal with Roaring Moons, and also dish a huge chunk of damage against Charizard being a one prize Pokemon. So that's also something to note. And then there is Miraidon. They did have the wrong image for Miraidon there, but Miraidon 7.8. So if we take a look at that conversion rate, if we go to day 1, the deck that really fell off was Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon didn't do all that well. Giratina did really well. Chimpao stayed the same, and Charizard also dropped down a little bit in percentage. So the most converted decks, Lost Tina, as well as Gardevoir into that, yeah, and MUVMAX. And MUVMAX as well for that day 2 meta analysis. So let's take a look at the top 16 deck list. That's what you're here for, right? So Sao Paulo, the LAIC 2023. So yeah, let's check out the first place winning list. We already take a look at, of course, Juha Kalama's list from Finland, and look at that. It is going to be with the scary Iron Hands. Also coming back with that double turbo energy, and an easy thing you can do with this list is use Forest Seal Stone to find your one-off double turbo energy. That means if your generator hits 2 energies onto an Iron Hand, you can get it off instantly. Punish Lost Box players, punish Gardevoir players, even Pokemon that have, yeah, let's say against, there's a lone Frigibax, you can also KO that, so you can upgrade very easily with Iron Hands, and because of the Super Rod in here, you can even do it twice in a game if it happens to get knocked out. There's no more Flying Pikachu V in this list, and there's only 2 paths to the peak in the list, so not too heavily focused on using Disruption. That's why there's also no Judge in here. The only Disruption is 3 copies of Iono, so no copy of Judge whatsoever in this specific 60. And in this list, it's also easier to attack with Mew EX because you do have that double turbo energy. All the rest is the same, like we've come to know with, of course, the Miraidon deck. You go wide on your board with Tandem Unit, try to set up some Mareeps, then use some Electric Generators, and hope the Electric Generators hit, and then you can attack. Your most easy, to attack Pokemon is going to be Raikou V, but there's also some more options with Iron Hands, Raichu V, and you can even attack with the Zapdos as well from time to time. Zapdos does help out for Miraidon to hit 230 damage against Dragonite as well as Roaring Moon, so there are definitely things that could happen here. Cool, for sure, and that was the first place winning list. We just tested out and it was very good. Then Noah Sawyer from the United States with Entei Iron Valiant. This is a deck that I actually featured on my channel last week as well. So I was right on the money when I said that this deck was good. You use Magma Basin to set up Entei. Very easy to attack with it on the first turn of the game. Attachment of the turn, Magma Basin, and then off you go attacking with the Burning Rondo. You can also use Fleet-Footed to draw a card, but more importantly, the Iron Valiant with the Tycoon Bits can actually put damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon every single time it flies into the active position. So they can do that once during your turn for every Iron Valiant. So with like so many switch outs, there's 12 switch outs and even some Jet Energy, so that's technically 14 switch outs. You're going to be able to, of course, get a lot going. There's also the Future Booster Energy Capsule, which provides free retreat and 20 additional damage, but you're not going to be damaging with your Iron Valiant, but it is here for the free retreat, so you're going to be able to do a lot of stuff with that. You can donk people that only have a 60 HP basic in the active position. If they have a more HP, like 70 HP, you can even Yoga Loop on the first turn going second. If you want to go turbo, there's Quack Ability, and in the late game you have Radiant Charizard. This deck is very, very good, and it might even won the entire tournament if it didn't break. Also, very strong deck, and you're going to be able to punish the low HP Pokemon. Think about Comfey, Ralts, think about Charizard, Charmander, Pidgey, so Frigibax. So many weak HP Pokemon, and this deck preys upon them. And I think this deck will become more popular when we advance to the Gdansk regionals, because I think it's solid. You can even devolve Pokemon with the Technical Machine, so your game plan can become to sprinkle around like 2 Baxcaliburs and out of nowhere devolve them and leave the Chimpao player with no Baxcaliburs anymore. So yeah, strong. For sure, I think this list definitely deserves some attention here. You definitely have to play around with it because I think it's very strong. Then Kieran Farah, if I pronounce it correctly, from Canada with Gardevoir. Gardevoir here. And this is still incorporating the Zacian V with the Roar of the Sword, but does come back with Screamtail and Cresselia. Only one Avery in here. We did see that Avery became really popular, but there's also only 2 rare candies in here, so they're relying more on the Mirage Step Kirlia. But in the late game, you do have Iono and the Counter Catcher, and definitely with Screamtail, that's crazy. Also, I thought here that they are not playing any Luxury Escape, so the Screamtail only slaps 160 and that's it. But maybe that's all you need to knock out something like Squack Ability against Miraidon on Roaring Moon or something. So a very strong deck. Gardevoir does have the comeback potential because of Iono, has the crazy draw power because of Refinement, Concealed Cards, etc. And this is a deck that will never go away until it rotates, until actually the Shining Arcana rotates, because that's actually a huge one. But maybe then they will adapt to maybe playing Drifloons or maybe more Screamtail, etc. But Gardevoir, such a crazy ability with the Psychic Embrace. Then 4th place for Gabriel Veloso with Giratina Lost Box, so from Brazil. What do we see here? This is a vanilla 60, but they do incorporate that one-off Path to the Peak. I currently, that one of Forest Seal Stone is what I meant to say. So I am not a big fan of the Forest Seal Stone. I know in some matches you don't always need Star Vacuum, and Forest Seal Stone does allow you to get more into the game, I know. But Star Vacuum is just so good in a lot of matchups that I personally would not incorporate this card. But yeah, all the rest seems pretty, to see 4 switch outs. There's 4 jet energies. You have the Confate, the Roxanne, and the Path, and the Counter Catcher. So we did see a lot of this already, so Lostina doesn't change all that much. There's Brennan Cameraman, of course, I know him very well. Congratulations for your victory here with a very unique Lost Zone box, the Lost Box Eclipse as they so called it. So it is incorporating a Roaring Moon EX, so at least there is a Roaring Moon in top 8. It is not its own deck, but it is an attack card. Instead of going for some crazy like I would say Dragonites and all that stuff for your big powerful attacker, they opted to go for Roaring Moon. Very good because you do have Super Rod if you want to deal with the big tanky stuff. Like imagine if you're up against an Arceus deck. This deck typically has a terrible time against Arceus. Well, with Roaring Moon, you just snap them out of existence, which is great. You can get this off in the late game as well for your last couple of prize cards. Roaring Moon also hits weakness against Mew V Max, so you don't need to incorporate Drapion anymore. There's Charizard, which is a very great card in this meta game right now with Combustion Blast. You can recover that with, of course, the 2 copies of the Clara in here. Jirachi helps a lot in the mirror match because of Lost Mine shenanigans, and it's definitely going to help out in Lost Box mirrors. And with the help of Manaphy, you do protect. So if you have Manaphy and Jirachi down, is going to be very good in the mirror match, definitely, because they cannot use the Radiant Greninja typically in Lost Boxes, and you also protect yourself from Lost Mine. So it's going to have to be very, very powerful, this deck going forward, because not a lot of people thought that a Lost Box would be very good when Iron Hands and, of course, Iron Valiant came out. People were scared to be playing Lost Box, but this is proving that Lost Box can always adapt. Okay, moving forward. Number 6th place with Matthew Burris from Australia with a Gardevoir list. Let's see what Gardevoir list this is. It is going to be also without Luxury Escape, but does play 2 copies of Avery. Avery seems to be becoming more and more of a staple in Gardevoir, definitely because you can disrupt the opponent's bench while using Screamtail on top of that and Counter Catcher, so you can really disrupt an opponent's bench like crazy. You still have Mirage Tap to go wide on your board, and I'm always still a big fan of VIP passes in Gardevoir. All the rest seems pretty good. Also, 2 Artisans instead of going for Collapse. I'm a big fan of Collapse in Gardevoir, to be honest. Okay, then Snorlax block, of course, Kito Arai, if I pronounce it correctly, from Japan, came here to slaughter the Western world with Snorlax block. This is a Snorlax block we got familiar with, also showcased that on the channel. With Counter Catcher, Snorlax block became so scary that it actually is a deck that if you're not respecting it, you're going to be losing. So you need to be careful of your switch outs. You need to be, of course, if you're expecting this deck to be very popular, attacking a Minior, which definitely helps out this matchup. But pretty much Snorlax block always wants to be going second. With that being said, they go for Arven, go wide on their board, draw cards with Rotom, and then, if something's knocked out, you Counter Catcher something that cannot retreat, that nobody can retreat anymore because of Snorlax block, and because you can trap Pokemon that are utility Pokemon. Think about Lumineon, Mew from Celebrations, Radiant Greninja. Some of them will get trapped forever because they cannot attack with it, and then you win the game. It's very cheesy, I know. Sometimes you can even go for an Erika's Invitation, so the Pokemon are no longer safe in the hand. They are not safe in the discard pile either, so if you draw into a support Pokemon, be careful of Erika. If you discard it early on with Ultra Ball or a Research or whatever, be careful of Echoing Horn. So they are no longer safe everywhere, and Snorlax block is super annoying to be playing against. Then Jeremy Gibson from United States with Gardevoir. Gardevoir list here. Is this something similar we've seen before? They are incorporating that One-Off Collapse. I am a big fan of the One-Off Collapse in Gardevoir. They are playing the 2 Counter Catcher and the Professor Turo in combination with Palpat. I think is very strong for Snorlax block situations, but you can also remove 2 prizes from the board, and that's going to help out with prize mapping. So at one point you Psychic Embrace into an Arcana, then you use Turo to get the Gardevoir EX back in hand, and then you are left with only 1 prizers on board, which is very strong for Gardevoir, and that's why it always sees success at any given tournament ever since its release. In the past, people use something like Penny and stuff, but Turo is way better because you can get the Gardevoir EX back in hand. Fabrizio Inga Silva from Peru. Yeah, from Peru. Almost the same flag as Canada, but it is Peru. With Mew, DTE Mew. Yeah, who remembers DTE Mew? Was popularized during Worlds 2022 and London. And now it sees its return with, of course, Grabber, Path to the Peak, Judge. Yeah, the most annoying cards in the world. You Judge, Path, Grabber, and the opponent will be breaking, hopefully. Box of Disaster helps a ton against Gardevoir, and there is, of course, some more disruption with Avery, possibly, and it's a very consistent deck. You just path and hope and pray, and that's what Mew does most of the time. So Facundo Facio from Argentina has played Italian Urshifu, a deck that I personally wasn't rating all that high in my tier list, but it actually don't have a deck list for this quite yet. Pedro Pertusi with a Charizard, of course. Brazilians like their Charizards. Okay, we have Pidgeot. This is pretty much Arvanzard, right? Just forget about TM Evolution. This is Arvanzard with the Pidgeot still. Pidgeot gets anything you want. They are not incorporating Lost City though, so I think their Chimpa matchup is a little bit sketchy in my opinion. They do have Temple of Sinnoh in there as well as a Collapsed, and they have the Pidgeot V with Forest Sealstone combination, so you can easier find your VIP passes. Definitely if you go second, Arven VIP pass, and also get the Forest Sealstone, go wide on your board. This is a strong deck, and I think it helps out a ton with the Jirachi, protecting yourself against some Lost Mines. That's definitely something the deck really was yearning for. So William Azevedo. Also, Charizard is the exact 60, so very crazy to see that both of them got into that top 16. Very formidable Charizard players. Next up is Anil Saini from Canada with Miraidon. Let's see here. What is different here? We do see that they are not playing Path to the Peak. They opted to go for consistency with Beach Court and 18 energies. Yo, they really want to high roll on the Iron Hands. They really want to just absorb the Gardevoirs and Lost Box matchups and go, say, first turn of the game, amp you very much. And they can do it twice because they have an Iron Hands. Again, a second one. They don't run Super Rod. I'm a bigger fan of playing Super Rod, but this list with 18 energies, you might brick a ton with it if I imagine. Like, imagine you're getting judged. You should draw out all the energies. So also only playing 2 copies of Miraidon, really cheeky in my opinion, and yeah, they got away with it. So they're also playing 2 VIP passes, and I wonder if it paid off for them. So 2 VIP passes, Arven, 3 copies of Arven. So Arven, Electro Generator, and then maybe the Beach Court on top of that, hitting one of them. If you go so high on Iron Hands, isn't it better to just incorporate like 2 DTEs? So scratch 2 of these lightning energies and turn it into 2 DTEs. That's something I personally would do if you really are that high on MP very much. But yeah, congratulations for that cool looking Miraidon list. Then Ian Robb with the Chimpao Baxcalibur, or Backs to the Future as they call it. Now, there's no Iron Bundle in here, but still, Iron Hands is a future Pokemon, so we do see that this is the highest placing Chimpao list, and it actually, the thing that I've noticed here, that they're still playing Cross Switchers, but they're not playing Cologne. So I'm a big fan of playing just that one of Cologne in here. Maybe you have a cheeky cut where you cut one of these cards, maybe cutting one Super Rod and just the one-off time that you can use Cross Switcher Cologne to sweep up a board is very strong. They are playing one-off Iono, no Lumineon. I'm a big fan of Lumineon and Chimpao just for some additional consistency if you go want to define that Irida, but it's a strong deck. You power up your Baxcalibur, find it easily because of Irida, Candy, and Baxcalibur. I've been playing Baxcalibur Chimpao for so long that yeah, it's a deck that is near to my heart. It is very strong and now has capabilities of taking 2 prize cards everywhere. You use Iron Hands, you use Greninja, you use a 2 prize KO with the Hellblade, it's all possible. And now you even have Vessels. So with Vessels, in combination with Chevry Chill, you can find your energies easier than ever before. Very good against decks like Mew Max, for instance. Okay, then Caleb Rogerson playing Gardevoir as well. This is the last list we're taking a look at today, and this list is playing double Collapse. As mentioned, Collapse is great. There's also 2 Averys in here. No Luxurious Escape, so Screamtail is in there, but is maxed out at 160. Is it enough? Probably if you're able to like counter catch or something and trap it after an Iono. There's 4 copies of Iono in here, you might get away with it, but I think it's a stronger play to have the Luxury Escape so you can actually knock out something like a Mew EX on the bench while you use Iono and counter trap something. It is a very strong deck, as mentioned. Not a lot has changed. They're playing 3 VIP passes. It's like the middle ground. Some people say I don't play VIP passes. This is all between playing 3 VIP passes, and I think they're also not playing the Mew from Celebrations, which I think is a very strong card. If you take a look at the other Gardevoir list, I think the Mew from Celebrations also was missing from all of these lists. I wonder, maybe they were afraid of Iron Valiant for some reason. Yeah. No Mew from Celebrations. That's very peculiar. So that is the top 16 list from LAIC Sao Paulo. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out in many ways. As mentioned, the last list for the Lost Zone Giratina is currently not up on Limitless, but it will be uploaded very shortly, so be sure to refresh. Big shout out to Angel Aranibar Huamani from Peru, which played Lost Zone Tina. Don't have the list, but probably not that much off of the other Lost Valentino that we've taken a look at. So yeah, also check out my sponsors below. Yeah, the links are below, but yeah, you have to check out PoketownStore.com to get TCG Live code cards. You can use the coupon code ZapDosTCG for 5% off. Check out DragonShield.com, the best quality sleeves. They have binders and deck boxes as well. You can use the link down below to get 5% off, or just use the coupon ZapDos5. It's definitely gonna help out if you're wanting to hoard some sleeves for the new season. There's also yourplaymat.com to create your own custom playmat. You can do so today and get 10% off. So yeah, create the playmat you've always dreamed of. Maybe you have your own design, your own unique wallpaper, your own logo. Just upload it and they turn it into a beautiful playmat. It's always nice to play on unique playmats. And then there's cardmarket.com for European players. You can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name ZapDosTCG to help support the channel. So thanks a lot for watching. This was a very unique tournament to be looking at. And I think there is high hopes for Iron Valiant with Entei, because I think that deck was just underplayed, but it will become more popular. Also, I wonder what will happen to Roaring Moon. It is nowhere in the top 16. I think the best performing Roaring Moon was actually in the top 128. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, we'll see if Roaring Moon gets its comeback just like Charizard had. In its first week, it flopped, but then it came back as a vengeance when people discovered the correct list. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. See you guys tomorrow. Peace!